My name is Eren Caraburn. I'm from North Jersey.
Oh, right. Lots of people from North Jersey here.
Yeah, yo.
All right, what can you tell us about North Jersey?
Pretty rich white neighborhood, I'd say.
What's the difference between North Jersey and New York?
North Jersey and New York? I mean,
Yeah.
I would definitely say North Jersey is a lot more calm and there's less to do at night.
Yeah.
Should I look at the camera? Or?
Yeah, look at the camera. Look at
All right.
I'll stand here so you're looking at
Alright, I'll face this way. So,
No, come closer for the audio.
Sorry, I got you. I'd say there's more stuff to do in the city at night.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, a lot more people to meet.
Where were y'all coming from before you came to this park?
We were just coming from the other dining hall, Lipton. Just picked up some food and go back to our room.
Yeah. Where are you going? Oh, you're gonna go back to your room once you leave here? Okay. Wait, you say you live in the dorms?
Yeah, we live in the dorm. We're in Weinstein right over here.
Oh, okay. What do you think about the NYU bubble?
NYU bubble?
Yeah.
I don't think there is a bubble.
You don't think there's a bubble?
I don't think so.
Cause like I talked to some NYU students, and they said they're seniors and they don't know a single New Yorker.
I don't know about that. What do you think, Kurt?
Cause the only people they know are other NYU students. You see what I'm saying?
I think that one of the things about NYU is like, I mean, even when we're walking to get some food, we just, met you, just like a random person. That's what I'm talking about. Like, you just walk down the street, meet a random person. I mean, I feel like if it's not about the campus itself, I think it's just if you put yourself out there, you definitely meet more people. I mean, if you're at a state school, that's like a bubble. Like, you're not meeting anyone else. But in terms of this, you can definitely meet more people. I don't really think that there's a bubble. I mean, the second you step off the campus or like a dorm, then you're just on the street.
So the people you know, they also branch out as well?
Yeah.
Okay, now you want to do dating questions or general questions?
Whatever you want. Dating, I don't really care.
Okay, let's do dating questions. Alright, let's say you're checking out a girl. Are you straight or gay?
I'm straight.
Okay, let's say you're checking out a girl from across this park. And you're looking for signs to indicate that it's okay to approach her. What kind of signs are you looking for?
I'd probably look to see if the girl has friends around her, or like, you know, what she's wearing, like, you know, is she on a run, is she just like chilling with her friends on a picnic, and then just kind of like...
What about if she is on the run?
So if she's on a run, I don't know.
Is it bad to approach women who are out jogging?
Well, I mean, I'd probably get pissed off if I was running and some guy just tried to talk to me, so I'd probably just...
So avoid that.
Yeah, I mean, I'd probably just say like, you know, just try to come there. Like, I mean, if she's running around here, she probably lives around here too. So if you maybe go wait at one of the stop signs, like, you know, in between the streets. If she stops, just be like, hey, you know, I saw you running. Wanted to just introduce myself, stuff like that.
Okay. So what other types are you looking for?
What other what?
What other signs are you looking for?
Signs as in like what they're wearing, or just the kind of girl? What do you mean?
What they're wearing, or body language, anything that would make it so that you think it's okay to approach her. Something that gives you the green light.
I wouldn't really say that I'm looking for necessarily a green light. I just think that depending on the girl, I mean, I'm an extrovert, so I probably look for someone who's using, if they're across the park, maybe some hand gestures, some laughing. I mean, I wouldn't want to disturb someone who's just reading the book or something like that. So yeah. Okay.
Now, what are your thoughts on online dating? Advantages, disadvantages?
I feel like online dating, I've personally never really tried Tinder. I know a few people that I have. I don't really know if you can get something super concrete like a relationship out of it, but I think if you're just looking to hook up, then online dating could be a thing. I think depending on where you live, it could be a little sus to meet up with someone that you've never met before, but I think as long as you get to know them and you meet in a public place, I guess it should be fun.
Now, do you consider yourself a leader, and why?
I would say leader because I like to think that I bring people together to, you know, do things. Like if we're gonna go out with our friends, I'd say I'm probably the person to suggest it and, you know, introduce some new ideas. Yeah. And in terms of sports as well, I like to think that I would just take some sort of leadership role to kind of lead everybody in the right direction.
Good. Now, how did y'all become friends here?
So he's actually my roommate. So I think I hit him up on the NYU 2024 Instagram page. We just started talking, and it was pretty chill. I mean, we're both Turkish, so you know, we were like,
Assalamu alaikum.
Yeah, alaikum salam. But you know, that's just kind of was the first thing we started talking about, and then we just kind of started talking. We're pretty chill with each other, and then we just asked. I was like, "You want to be my roommate?" He was like, "Sure." So,
y'all like eating Turkish food?
Turkish food is the best food.
Yeah. What are some good places to go to eat Turkish food? I like Turkish food too.
Kurt, there's like a Turkish kitchen, right, in like Upper East Side. I think there's some pretty good places, but nothing beats the mom's cooking, you know.
Yeah. All right, now what do you consider to be your strengths and weaknesses?
My strengths and weaknesses?
Yeah.
I'd say my weaknesses are sometimes I overthink some decisions, and I think once making decisions that impact other people, I think I consider other people's feelings too much. So I might prioritize the people around me more than my own self. So that's probably a weakness, and then that would hinder me in making a right decision for myself.
Yeah.
But I think a strength would be that I'm pretty driven. So if I want to do something, I'll probably find a way to get it done. And I like to think that I'm a pretty positive person. So
Yeah.
I guess
You
that's
got
it.
a lot going for you. Now, is Facebook still relevant?
I think for some things it's relevant. I don't think it's relevant in the same way Instagram is, but I think that if you're trying to find a group of people that, you know, if you're trying to find a group of people that have the same interests as you, I think it could be something relevant. You know, you can make like a Facebook group and stuff like that.
What group are you a part of?
I think I'm part of a few alumni groups from my high school, another, like I think I'm in a Turkish school group as well, and then a few soccer groups and just some random stuff like that.
So it's still alive.
I'd say it's still alive, yeah.
Do you think it's easier to be a man or a woman?
What do you mean in terms of living life? Or
No, like society, like being, like if you think you would have it easier being a woman if you were in society?
I think gender roles are present in every society, and I think there's been a new, you know, age of people trying to overcome them. So that's definitely a good positive. But yeah.
Okay, now where do you see yourself 5 years from now?
5 years from now, hopefully doing my master's in some sort of business education, or you know, if some things go well, maybe some playing soccer abroad, maybe in Turkey or something like that. Those are the two main goals, I'd say.
Oh, you're that good?
I'm okay.
Wow, that's cool. What's it like being a soccer star?
I would not say I'm a soccer star, but I just like to work hard and try to get better every day, because I do think that I can make it if, you know, some things go well.
What kind of places you compete in?
I mean, I played in like tournaments and stuff like that, but I started pretty late. I started playing in middle school, but you know, it's just about working hard. I think I still got a lot of work to do, but hopefully I got, you know, some people I know overseas, so they could give me like a trial or two if some things work out. But yeah,
You gotta seize that, man, while you're still young, while you're still healthy.
for sure.
Can you do a New York accent?
New York accent? I don't know. Like I just know like coffee and stuff like that. But yeah, I have just like a New Jersey accent. I don't really have a New Jersey accent actually, just like regular American accent.
Yeah, you don't have a very strong accent.
Yeah.
All right, now what kind of advice you got for people who want to play soccer?
Play soccer? I'd say you just gotta definitely do work outside of your training, because think about this, you know, 22 people go to training every single day. How are you gonna distinguish yourself from those 22 people? You know, that's the same thing with life. If you're just going to the classes that everyone else is going to, what are you doing outside of those classes to, you know, differentiate yourself, get yourself to the next level, and just never be content. I mean, never be happy with where you are, always just trying to be doing more.
Yeah. All right, now, you said you're a content creator.
Yeah, for YouTube. I made a few YouTube videos before.
What kind of stuff you make?
I predominantly made like some soccer stuff when I was first starting out, but I've been trying to focus more on like, you know, my life at NYU. I'm gonna upload some videos on my channel.
That's awesome. What's the name of your channel?
So it's Eren Karaburn, ErenKaraburun.
So you're only on YouTube. Are you on any other platforms?
Yeah, I'm on Instagram, Snapchat, Facebook, you know, Clubhouse. I'm on a bunch of things.
Clubhouse, can you tell me about that?
I think it's an interesting concept, but I don't really think it's going to catch on too much, to be honest.
Is that the one that's invitation only?
Yeah, you only get 2 invitations to invite someone else in, and then that's it. So you have to have an invitation to be able to get in.
So you were, I'm assuming you were disappointed when you got invited in.
When I got invited in? No,
Yeah.
I mean, I was invited, so I was like, you know, I'll check it out. And I think I sent 1 or 2 invitations. I sent one to my roommate as well, but he didn't really want to try it out. So I just want to see what it's all about.
So it's not gonna, it doesn't look very promising to you.
You know, it's a new idea, I'd say, but I just feel like it's a social media platform that's kind of like, you know, what do they say? It was like a podcast inside a conference call and like a meeting. So, I mean, I don't know. I guess you just think of like the same problems that are coming up with any other small social media, but I don't really see myself using it too much.
So what is your most successful content out there?
My most successful content on my
What are you
YouTube?
most proud of? Yeah, anything you made, like a video or a picture you took?
I was pretty proud of my highlight tape that I made for sending out to colleges and stuff like that. I was pretty proud of that, but I think I would say like my highlight tape and probably just like a few other just fun videos here and there making with my friends.
What kind of advice do you have for the freshmen coming in next year?
I actually have a video coming up on my YouTube channel. I asked a bunch of freshmen, incoming freshmen class of 2025, a bunch of questions like, you know, stuff that I wish I knew when I was coming in. And I'm making a YouTube video. I'm probably going to put it out sometime next week.
That's great. And that's going to be on your YouTube channel?
Yeah, so it's probably like 20-minute video, just a bunch of questions, my experience coming in with COVID and stuff like that.
How often do you upload? Or will you? How often should we expect a new video?
You know, I'm trying to think like, if I have enough content, enough time, maybe like once every 1 or 2 weeks, but you know, I still have no idea. I just have some few video ideas that I've been working on, but we'll see how they come out.
So like about 2 or 3 a month?
Yeah, we'll see.
If you had 3 wishes, what would they be?
Ooh, definitely more wishes for one of them. And then just go from there. Ask for more wishes and just have a wish every time I need something.
Aside from being a soccer player, what kind of special talents do you have?
I can swim pretty well, and I speak English and Turkish, some Spanish, I guess. And special talents.
Yeah.
I like to think that I pick up on things pretty fast, so I can learn a new sport, a new trick pretty easily.
Can you say anything interesting in Turkish?
Adını sikerim.
What does that mean?
Can't say that in English, it's too rude.
Oh, okay, so it's like something that you would say to someone you don't like.
Probably, yeah.
Okay, now, have you had any game changers in your life? Anything that happened to you that made you want to change the way you live your life?
So negative thing or positive thing?
Well, sometimes it's like something, it can be good or bad, but a lot of times when something bad happens, it makes you want to, you know, kind of straighten your life out, right?
Actually, yeah, I'd say quarantine. So from March to May, that was a pretty time in your life when everybody just kind of was trying to just find something to do with their life. So I picked up a few new tricks. You know, I could like split an apple with my hand. I learned about the stock market, started trading. So that was definitely a good thing in my life. And then also just people like, I think throughout my life, just people doubting me saying I can't do something. I always just think about that. Like, for example, if I'm going for a new PR in the gym, I just think about everybody who said that I couldn't be where I am today. And all the people that said I couldn't get into NYU, I just think about them and then, you know, just lift the bar up after that.
You turned a negative into a positive. That's amazing.
Yep.
I see you have a lot of accomplishments in your life. What is the biggest accomplishment in your life?
I'd say definitely getting into university is one of the biggest ones. And then I just think having a great support group of friends around me and just like a super positive environment that I put myself in. I think that's very lucky. Also my family, I think I'm lucky enough to have a family that really love and appreciate me, so that's probably my biggest accomplishment.
I'm assuming you come to this park a lot.
Yeah, I probably pass by here at least twice a day.
What is the strangest thing you've seen or heard right here in this park?
Oh wow, I think I saw 2 or 3 naked people, just like butt naked. I think they had paint on them and they were just walking around the park. And I was like, wow, that's really, I think it was like, you know, 30 degrees or something too. So I was like, that's pretty wacky. Probably
something you wouldn't see in North Jersey.
For sure.
All right, what do you want to name this video? What kind of title do you want to give it?
Ooh. Kurt, what do you think, bro?
I like talking about myself.
I like talking about, I mean, he's asking the questions, bro. I don't know, just like NYU kid interview, maybe something like that.
Almost like the Utah NYU.
Yeah.
All right, now, how do you know someone's crazy?
Ooh, define crazy. Good crazy or like, you know...
Crazy, like bad crazy. Like someone, you know, who's like maybe throwing food all over the floor for no reason. Someone who's maybe shouting at people, screaming at people, being aggressive towards people. What kind of signs are you looking for?
I think that you see a lot of characters in New York City especially, but I would say the only people you really need to be careful about are, you know, if you're just walking alone at night, you just see someone acting a little strange, you know, just basic things, you know.
Yeah. All right, now how important is marriage to you?
Marriage? I mean, it's pretty early to think about, but it's something that I might want to do later in my life.
Yeah. Or what about ancestry? How important is that to you?
I think it's very important because, I mean, if you forget where your roots are, you know, how are you going to move forward without knowing where you came from?
You go back to Turkey a lot?
I go every year. I couldn't go this year, but yeah.
What can you tell us about Turkey?
I think it's a beautiful country. I think the media portrays it as this kind of like war-torn country, but it's definitely a lot more beautiful, and people say it's dangerous, but I mean, that's the same thing with everywhere you visit, as long as you know where to go. Same thing with New York. You can say New York's dangerous, but if you know you're pretty smart about where you go, then there's nothing to worry about.
How many languages do you speak?
I speak English, Turkish, and I mean, I study Spanish, so I guess I can kind of speak Spanish, but yeah.
Está bien eso.
What?
Está bien eso.
Yo hablo un poco, pero no, no sé bien.
Tú hablas bien, loco.
¿Bien?
Sí, tú hablas sin acento.
Pienso que tengo un acento porque hablo turco.
Ningún acento. Yo conocí un amigo que me hizo amigo.
Gracias.
Cariño, era de Turquía, un señor. Se parecía como era cubano y hablaba así de color suyo y hablaba 9 idiomas y estaba preso porque uno trató de entrar a la casa de él y le cayó a tiro. Pero ¿por qué no metieron preso a él si estaba defendiendo a su familia? Vivieron 25 años y un señor de edad.
You sound like you studied Spanish seriously.
I started taking it in middle school and in high school, but I think it's just easier to pick up because I speak Turkish as well, so the accent's kind of similar, I guess.
Wait, so you said you almost got into NYU?
No. And I got into NYU. What do you mean?
So I mean, because before you said people thought you couldn't get in, right?
Yeah, people were saying,
you said you proved them wrong.
Yeah.
But it sounds like you're a good student, so that doesn't connect to me.
I mean, my GPA wasn't the best, but I think I had pretty good test scores, so that helped me get in. Also, I had a good essay, but I don't think I had like a greatest freshman, sophomore year. I didn't really have the greatest grades, so that's why people were saying I couldn't get in.
What kind of advice you got on how to be a good student?
I think don't stress too much about the grades. I think as long as I would say the biggest thing is just be friends with your teacher, because if you're an enemy of your teacher, they're not going to work for you. They're just going to work against you. So you got to work with your teacher.
Very smart. You've got strong communication skills.
Thank you.
That's good. All right, now, what kind of questions would you ask if you were doing interviews? What are you curious about the folks out here? What kind of stuff you want to ask?
I'd probably say if you could have dinner with someone, one person throughout entire history, who would you pick?
So living or dead?
Yeah, living or dead.
That's
or
great.
if you could bring back one person from the dead.
That's a cool question. That's a good question.
All right, now,
Unique.
what kind of places have you traveled to? States, countries?
I've been all over. I've traveled to Europe, Germany, France, Spain, England, Turkey, Canada, Mexico, a few different states. I was born in California, so moved around a lot as a kid.
Where would you like to travel to in the future?
I really want to go to Alaska. I think Alaska's beautiful. I'd want to go there.
You gonna do one of those cruise ship things?
Yeah, maybe when that opens up, that'd be cool.
Yeah. Okay, now, what kind of videos do you watch?
Videos? I like watching podcasts, Joe Rogan podcasts, and I just like, going on YouTube deep dives about historical stuff. I'm pretty interested in like history and, people and, especially new technology. I think that's pretty interesting. So just kind of, I don't really like to waste my time watching videos. I like to learn something when I watch something.
What motivates you in life?
People who say I can't do something. I just want to do it more when they say I can't do it.
That's great. Turning the negative into a positive. All right, now what is a good place to bring a date here in New York?
Ooh, so there's a great restaurant in Soho called La Pecora Bianca. It's a great Italian place. It's pretty good. And probably just Central Park. And there's a few places. I'm trying to think. I think there's a few museums. There's a Museum of Ice Cream and Museum of Sex on Broadway. I think I want to take someone there. Those are pretty fun.
All right, when it comes to dating, can opposites attract?
I think to an extent, yeah. So my girlfriend and I, we're pretty similar, but my ex-girlfriend, we were actually the opposite. So I think it's just every relationship is different, and every relationship brings something new. But I guess my roommate got tired of waiting.
So you want to finish this up?
No worries. I have all day.
All right. Now, does your girlfriend require that you become friends with her friends too, or no?
No, I just think it helps though, because if you become friends with your girlfriend's friends, then every time you have a problem, if there's ever an issue, the girl's gonna go to her friends. So it's really important how they think about you as well.
Do you find that to be difficult, or it's pretty easy to you?
No, I think I'm a pretty likable person. I like to think that I can get along with most people.
So you're like universally like getting along with people.
I just think that as long as someone doesn't have a super high ego about themselves and just think they can do everything, I can get along with everyone except those kind of people.
Okay, so
That's good.
so you go to NYU.
Yeah.
What was your second choice?
My second choice, I actually didn't really think about a second choice, but I think I was gonna apply to either. I knew NYU was my top, but I'm
So it
trying.
was either this or nothing.
Well, it wasn't nothing. It was just a few schools that I didn't really think that I was that interested in. It would probably be like either Bentley or Babson, one of those two schools. But I also had some offers for swimming and for soccer and like other parts of the country that I didn't really look at.
Yeah. All right. Now let me ask you this: if you weren't in New York, where would you be? Like if you weren't living in New York, what would you? Where else would you live?
I would want to try living in California. I think that's really cool, like Los Angeles, San Diego, one of those states. Or,
Is it because of the weather? Because of the sports?
I think the weather is definitely something that is important. I mean, when you're in New York City, it's been cold. You can't really leave without a jacket since like November, and I just kind of miss like being able to walk around in the sun and stuff like that. Also, there's a lot of hustle and bustle. I think I would want somewhere where you can just kind of find a spot to relax.
Yeah, like a quiet beachfront.
Yeah. I wish New York had a beach. Like that'd be really nice. Like a nice beach. I haven't been to the beach since the summer.
All right, what kind of apps do you use?
Apps?
Yeah.
I can check. I think I use, the classic Snapchat, Twitter, Instagram. I use Robinhood to trade stocks. I use Twitter for my news. I get like CNN breaking news, Wall Street Journal, and yeah, I don't really know. I don't know what other apps I really use. I mean, YouTube Creator Studio, you'd know that one. And then I guess Google Sheets just for other work, and Google Calendar, just kind of those apps.
Do you have any stock tips for us?
Stock tips? I mean, you just gotta kind of think about it in terms of how the consumers and like the general public think. So, for example, if they just sign a new bill saying there's more electric vehicles, what's related to that? Chargers. So you should invest in chargers because everyone's going to be investing in chargers as well. Just kind of thinking about it like that. Or if there's this big news about like toothpaste being bad for you, toothpaste stocks are going to go down, wait for them to go down, everyone uses toothpaste. Just invest when they're low and then you're going to make money when they go up.
What are your thoughts on Bitcoin?
Bitcoin, a lot of people hate on Bitcoin, but I'm actually someone who invests in the blockchain, so the Bitcoin mining. So I have a few shares.
The technology or the...
Yeah, the technology. So actually
I think there's a big future in that.
I think it's
going.
definitely people are saying, oh, it's going to go down to zero, but it's definitely a lot of new technology. And so one thing that I think is also good is like Ethereum, another cryptocurrency. So you can actually buy billboards on virtual, like those virtual reality headsets and stuff like that. So you can buy billboards in those worlds with Ethereum, like Ether.
Really?
And I think like cryptocurrency in general is like going to be pretty big in the future.
Yeah, I think so too. I mean, it's going to be more regulated, but I still think.
Yeah, people said the internet in the 2000s was going to crash. Like they were like, oh, internet's going to be like nothing. It's just a fad. And then now it's just like this big thing.
People can't live without it these days.
Yeah.
Or nature versus nurture, what's more important?
Nature versus nurture. I think that nurture.
Would you be the same guy you are today if you were raised by another family?
No, I think nature's definitely something to consider, but I think nurture is like the majority. I mean, how you're brought up, the environment that you live in, and the environment that you are surrounding yourself in. I mean, they say, show me who your friends are and I'll show you who you are. So it's just kind of, the environment you put yourself in is definitely gonna catalyze who you are as a person and kind of define you.
Show me who you with and I'll tell you who you are.
Exactly.
All right, now when it comes to men approaching women in public, there's two thoughts to that. One, there's a bunch of people who will say, don't bother women, they're just sitting there, leave them alone. If you weren't invited to the party, don't go. And then there's another bunch of guys who will say, yeah, well, if you don't try, you'll never know, and you should just approach as many women as you can, and don't worry about being rejected. Where do you stand on that?
So, are you talking about a party or in public?
No, right here, like in this kind of environment.
I think it's...
Let's say this woman, I don't know, is that even a woman? let's say like you were interested in her.
So
right?
if I was interested in her, for example, I'd probably go up, just say something like, I'd probably comment her like, hey, like I like your bike, or do you like to bike around here a lot? Like I kind of like to bike. Just be friendly, because the thing is, around here, a lot of people, you know, come up to you and they're like, hey, do you have any money? You have like $1. So that's why everyone's initial reaction is just to brush people off and say, no, I don't, like go away. But I think if you're friendly and say, you know, I've done that a few times. I've just been like, hey, like I like your shoes, or like I like your shirt, just like a compliment. But if I was interested, I would just say, you know, oh, like I see you like to bike. Where do you like to bike? Maybe we should bike sometime, something like that. So just kind of like initial conversation starter. Even just being friendly. If you're not interested in, you know, going out with them or something, you can just still be friendly if you like something about them.
That's a good approach.
Yeah, just definitely be like.
What kind of qualities are you looking for?
I think that it's really important, not even in just women, but I think in general, people should be selfless. I think it's important to think about people's, you know, just how someone would react to what you say. I think it's very important, because whenever I'm talking to someone, like a significant other, I try to think about how would I think if someone said this to me. So I think that's very important to consider, especially in a relationship. I think you need to have a lot of respect. I'm someone who's big on respect and trust. That's probably like my two most important things, because if you respect someone, then they respect you back, and it should be the same vice versa. But trust is also very important. You know, they say like if you squeeze the toothpaste out of the thing, you can't put it back in, or a glass jar, once it's broken, you can try to put it back together, but it'll never be the same again. So I think trust is very important.
So no lies.
I'd say definitely no lies. I mean, just be honest. What's the harm in being honest?
Yeah, there's too many people who will brag or will tell you something that you want to hear, and then sometimes, you know, that could be used against you.
Yeah.
All right, now do you usually meet women through people you know or independently?
I'd say more independently. If I was gonna meet a woman, it would probably just be like.
I mean, in your past.
In my past, I mean, I've met people. I'd say more independently. It's kind of like even. I'd say I've met someone through some friends and then someone else independently. But I think it's more. I think definitely meeting a girl has to be more independent, because, for example, you can introduce me to someone and I could just not give them a second look. But then I'm also, if you introduce me to them, I can independently just say like, hey, you know, how's it going? So I think either way, it definitely depends on you. It's not really like someone can match you up, but no one's forcing you to talk to them. So,
because some people will only go through people that they know, because they trust the opinions and of their friends.
You gotta trust yourself. You can't trust yourself, you can't trust anybody.
Yeah. So you're independently minded. You think for yourself, which is
you
hard to
can't-
find in this day and age.
Yeah, I think if you, the same thing, like if you don't love yourself, you can't love someone else. So you need to be very certain with yourself and your own decisions, and then talk to people who you trust to help you make those decisions. If you need any more, yeah.
All right, when it comes to dating, what are some of your turnoffs?
I'd say hygiene, simple hygiene. Like if someone has bad breath, or if they don't brush their teeth, or I'd say just someone who
Looks like a slob.
Yeah, I mean, that definitely basic hygiene, but that's not really a specific thing. I think for me, it would probably just be someone who you need to ask them a few times to do something. You say, hey, you know, can you do this for me? And you need to ask them like 4 or 5 times.
Yeah.
That's annoying. But
Someone who's not motivated.
I guess just say like general like respect stuff, and like, you know, you could joke around and like mess around and stuff. But I think just the biggest turnoff for me would probably just be like immaturity as well.
Do you also look for women who are sort of ambitious and have goals, like they want to go somewhere with their life?
I don't necessarily.
Because a lot of women will expect that from the man.
I don't think you should look at someone for their career goals and their endeavors. I think you should just look at someone who, you know, who they are as a person. Because in the end of the day, you're not marrying someone for their career, you're marrying someone for them. So, yeah, I mean, obviously if you're talking about marriage, but in terms of dating as well, I think that, because then that just turns into like a gold digger if you're just going to be marrying someone for their, you know, their job or their endeavors.
Yeah, I agree with that. Now, how long do you usually wait before you call a woman once you get her number?
I'd say if you get their Snapchat or their number, definitely wait like a day at least. Wait a day, and then you could just be like, hey, what's up? You know, I saw you were drinking some coffee. I know a good coffee place. You want to go try meet up there or something like that? So,
Cool.
yeah.
All right, now, how long does it take for you to like someone from the time you know of that person? And it doesn't have to be a person you really know, that you just know of. Let's say you got in class with someone and you've seen her around. And how long does it take for you to actually say, yeah, I could see myself asking her out?
So I think that I'm I don't like to jump into relationships because it's a big decision. I mean, if you jump in, then you're stuck. So unless you want to get out, but I think, you know, initial attraction is definitely something, but I wouldn't really date someone unless I know that our personalities are compatible and we can vibe. So I think someone's vibe is definitely important. If I can just like, because for me, that's like my best friend, you know what I mean? You're dating someone to be your best friend. They're not just a body who you can, you know, be intimate with. It's your best friend. So if I can vibe with them and I can see myself confiding in them, then I think I can see myself dating that person.
How did you meet your girlfriend?
So I actually met her because I think she caught my eye actually because she was dating someone else a few months before. So I was like, oh, you know, I'll come around to that when they break up. And then I think it was in the summer, I heard that they had broken up. So I was like, I'll just hit her up on Snapchat. I think she had her Snapchat in her bio. So I just hit her up on Snap. I was like, you know, just send my face. I was like, hey, what's up? And then we just started talking and snapping back and forth. And then I think she asked me for a ride home from a party one day because she didn't have a ride, and we just started talking, and then, you know, we hit it off.
So what was it that originally drew you in to her?
I think it was her initial attraction. I mean,
just the looks?
Yeah, I think looks. She also played volleyball. I think sports are definitely something that are important for me, not just because it usually makes the people fit, but also because people who play sports definitely know how to get through hardships and deal with the hard moment, because everyone's had those instances where a coach tells you, you know, get on the line and run until you throw up. So everyone knows how to just put their head down and work, and I think that's like a big mindset that sports teach.
They're probably more disciplined too.
Exactly, yeah. And they can respect if I say, you know, if you're dating someone who doesn't understand sports, if you say, hey babe, I can't go out, I got practice tomorrow morning, then they'll be like, oh, you know, you don't care about me, stuff like that. But if you say, like, you know, I got practice tomorrow morning, they'll understand, you know, you got practice, so you got to do what you got to do.
Because they know the lifestyle.
Yeah.
All right, now bad boys. Why do women go for bad boys? You know, like men who treat them badly and don't appreciate them for who they are.
I think that it's not necessarily choosing them, but the way I like to think of it is like, and this isn't for, I'm not talking about like abusive people, I'm just talking about people who are like a little more reserved and laid back versus like nice guys. So I'd say the reason that stereotypically, generally, people don't really go for nice guys is because, you know, if someone's giving you everything they want, human nature is just always want more. And when someone's giving you everything they want, everything like you want, you're just gonna kind of be like, oh well, I don't have to work for it. Yeah, you don't have to work for it. So I think part of like, it's like part of the journey. Like if you're working for something, it's more enjoyable in the end. Because think about it this way: if someone just gave you $100 in the street, you wouldn't even think twice about spending it. But if you worked 8 hours to earn that $100, you're gonna be like, okay, this is my $100. I'm not gonna spend it on anything. So same thing, you know, if you're working for someone, if you're working for someone and then you're getting it, then you're going to be a little more, you know, careful and be appreciative of that $100, versus if someone just gives it without asking, you're not going to think about it that way. So I think that's the reason that a lot of people, in terms of nice guys versus, you know, reserved guys, but I think that for, I guess, like meaner guys or bad boys, I think, I don't know, it could be something from when they were little, you know, they're just missing like an assertive figure in their life or something like that, or they just might, yeah, you know, they just might have feelings for someone, and, you know, it's just a shame that that person can't really appreciate that person for who they are, and they gotta, you know, be a little more mean to them. But yeah.
Or do you consider yourself to be a nice guy?
I'd like to think so.
So nice guys don't always finish last.
I'd say so.
You're living proof of that.
I'd say the one thing is there's a difference between being nice and serving the person. You don't want to serve them, you know what I mean? Don't double text, don't triple text, don't be desperate. You know, you can still be a nice guy, just still be reserved. So that's kind of my thing. You know, you talk a little bit. You know, maybe leave them on open once or twice on like Snapchat or stuff like that. But then, you know, you can be a nice guy and a caring person, but just don't be like desperate. That's the one thing.
Wait, how would you describe desperate? Describe some things or actions that a desperate person would do.
So the number one thing is, you don't want the girl to, you want the girl to feel like it doesn't matter whether or not you get with her or not. Because if I'm with a girl, I'm gonna, you know, kind of give off the impression that I don't really care if I get with her or not in that moment. And, you know, I can care about her as a person, you know, all this other stuff. I'm not disregarding her as a human, but it doesn't really make a difference to my night whether or not I do something with her. And then that would probably make her want to be more interested in me versus someone who's like nagging you and saying like, you know, oh, I want to get with you so bad, like let's go. You'd probably be like, okay, like let's relax a little bit. But
so don't be too clingy.
Just don't be clingy. You know, you were alive before the person you're gonna be alive after. You're gonna be fine before and after. So there's no purpose in, you know, stressing too much about what a girl thinks about you. Just if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, don't stress. And that's just the mindset you got to go in with it.
I agree with.
Creepy is like a kind of blanket term for a lot of things. It could mean it means something different to everybody. So my definition would be, in order to not come off creepy, I think you just kind of, if you look well put together, you know, if you're dressed in rags and you're smelly and like your hair is kind of messed up, then yeah, someone might not give you a second look and just kind of be like, what, you know, it's a little weird. But you know, if you have good hygiene, you know, your hair is like looks nice, you brush your teeth. I mean, obviously we're wearing masks, but you brush your teeth, you know, you're wearing something nice and you just look like you know, you have a purpose. And if you want to approach someone, it just looks like, oh, you're just taking time out of what you were already doing just to talk to them, versus like, you know, just kind of, you know, staying in the corner and like, you know, sulking and then just looking at them and just trying to like approach. And I think it's confidence is also something, like a lot of people are like, you know, hey, like, can I have some money, like all this other stuff, and just coming up with like a weird voice. But if I would say like, hey, like, I like your shirt, it looks nice, and just like go about my day, I think it's just confidence and just look like you care about how you look.
It's funny how you say confidence, and it's funny how I'm bipolar, and it's funny that I say that all the time to people. When I see something that I like on another person, I don't say it to males, but usually the females, no matter what color they are, whatever, they say, "But now check this out, I'm coming from the Bronx, I'm coming downtown, and I see two African American girls, young girls, and I see one that has pretty hair, the way she had it styled. I say, nice hair. You know what the person that's walking with her said? That's my cousin, nigga. And she almost threw me down the stairs.
What?
Just for complimenting the, I don't know if it's really a cousin, but the two of them were walking together. I say the one with the nice hair, I'm about to go down the stairs. There's 3 trains. One train that I'm taking in the Bronx, right? 149th and Grand Concourse. I'm about to go down the, I'm walking down, and I'm just walking, you know, walking. And the stairs are here, and they're walking like they was at 42nd Street. And I say, yeah, it looks nice. Just because I said they almost threw me down the stairs.
You know, if you think about it, instead of them seeing you as different, you could have seen them as different for how they responded to you. Right. You're not the different one. They're probably just different for how they reacted to it. You know what I mean?
Right.
Everyone's different. I would just be like, thank you.
Right, that's what they usually say in Manhattan. You compliment someone in Manhattan.
But that's the thing, like in the city, everyone's different. You don't know what you're gonna get. So sometimes someone would say thank you to someone, sometimes someone might freak out. It's just kind of how it is, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I would say, like, I mean, if you're looking to be like positive, because I try to like every day give one person a compliment, or just try to talk to someone on the elevator, you know, because it's easy to just put your head down and look at your phone. But I try to say, hey, like, you know, you're on the 5th floor, must have a nice view. Just like something just nice. You're like, oh, you know, I like your hair, and just kind of like just, you know, you don't have to be like, hey, like, you know, I like your hair, and like getting close. You just, you know, if you're walking somewhere, hey, I like your hair. Your hair looks nice today. You know,
right, because you see it is not a lie and compliment.
Yeah, exactly. I think you just had a bad experience. You know, it's probably just one bad experience.
Write it down.
I wouldn't generalize it as like every person. I feel like, you know, if I was with someone and they said, you know, you had nice hair, I'd be like, oh, you know, thank you.
I have a tendency of doing that. I'm half Dominican, half Colombian, right? They did 22 years in prison for nothing. Probably compared to what I'm about to tell you. This one time,
I have a Colombian friend. One of my best friends is Colombian.
Wow.
He's from Medellin, I think.
This is where Pablo Escobar was from.
Yeah.
You know what he used to give the town?
What?
He used to give angel dust with crack on bamboo paper. It's called bazooka. You know what I used to sell when I was 12 years old? And my uncle's after hour bazooka for $50 a stick. They look like a joint, and I was selling for $50 a stick. But once I sold 4 of them, I'm only 12 years old, and the after hour that would open up at 5 in the morning to 11 in the morning. And my uncle would let me stay till I sold like 4 of them, $200. Then he would kick me out. At 12 years old, kid.
Damn.
That's incredible, right?
All right, how do you stay positive in such a negative world with all this negativity going around us?
I just kind of try to remember why I'm doing everything. You know, you're studying to get a higher education. You're training for soccer to be better every single day. And I think it's just, you know, important to. I think it's also important to lean on your friends. You know, if you have friends that you can just turn to and say, you know, I'm kind of having a bad day. You know, can you support me? Or if you're just having a tough time, just do some things that make you happy. Like, I like to just go on YouTube or just watch some of my shows or something like that on Netflix, but yeah.
Now, when it comes to dating, how important is it the way you dress?
I think it's...
Like, let's say you're trying to meet women. Okay, let's pretend that you didn't have a girlfriend. Now, you wanted to go meet women. How important is it to dress nicely?
I think dressing nicely is definitely important, but for me personally, I like to think that I like to smell nicer because the smell is the most powerful scent in the body. You can smell, I think it's like 7 trillion different smells, and your smell is also so your nasal passage is actually connected to the part of your brain that's associated with memory. So for example, that's why if you smell cut grass, you'd remember sometime in your childhood when grass is cut, you're just having fun. So for me, I like to smell, I have like a few different colognes. I like to smell nice. When they meet you, if you smell nice, they'll remember that smell, and they'll remember like how they felt once they smell that smell. So I think smell is important. And I think just depending on what you're doing, your itinerary, you're going out to eat, just looks kind of put together. You're going to the park, you can wear maybe shorts, depends on where you're going. Just kind of try to look like you care about how you look.
What kind of cologne you use?
Right now I use YSL, Saint Laurent. I also like to use Dior Sauvage, even though a lot of people use it. I wore Paco Rabanne and Invictus for a while, and I think what you should do is just go to I like to go to Sephora. There's like on Broadway, like a cologne store. Just ask the attendant, like, can I try a few things, and then it'll look at how it smells on you. So that's good. Right now I wear YSL Y and Christian Dior. So a vibe is kind of just if I can have like banter with someone, like if I can talk to someone, like I'm talking with you right now, we're talking pretty back and forth, or yeah, if you're just sitting next to someone, they're not talking to you, you're not talking to them, then there's not really a connection. It's vibe is kind of like a connection, like how your energy is with them, like how your energy is shared and stuff like that.
So you would have to be like sort of on the same frequency.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, there's a lot of people who will come up to you randomly here in this park. I don't know if you've encountered that, but
yeah,
they'll come up to you and talk to you.
Yeah.
How long does it take you to come to the conclusion that this person is whack? Because sometimes I'll see a guy approach a woman and talk, and I'm not like listening completely, but like from what I can hear, I'm like, this guy is whack.
Usually I'll step
like
in at that
how
point.
could you just sit there and listen to this person?
Like there was an instance where some girl was sitting in the park, just I think on her laptop, and some guy, he had like a blanket around him, and he was like talking to her, and then I could tell she was like pretty uncomfortable because her body language was very close. So I just kind of sat across and I was like, oh, hey, like, Allison, like, I haven't seen you in a while. And I was like, can I help you, sir? And then he was like, oh, like, she was just helping me out with some stuff. I was like, oh, yeah. And I think he left after that. So, I mean, I guess the thing I would say is if you actually think that someone's in trouble, then it never hurts to just pretend that you know the person and just say, oh, hey, like, I was going to meet you here at the park. But I think people might have good intentions, but I think it's also important to respect people's personal space. I mean, you can go up to them and ask them and try to talk to them, but if they clearly don't want to talk to you, then I would just say don't push it.
Yeah. Oh, you want to give a shout out to anybody?
I'd say, just my friends in New Jersey, my friend group. I don't really want to, I can't really name all of them like off the top of my head, like 10 people, but I'd say my girlfriend, my family, my friends, and any friends I made at NYU. But yeah, all the friends I've made along the way from living in here as well. For content creators, I would say the biggest advice I had from my experience is just if you say you're gonna do something on content. For example, I was pretty interested in it was a video regarding like Rice Gum's downfall, and one of the biggest things he was doing was making promises to his fans and then not fulfilling them. So whether that's like new upload schedule or new content, I think it's important to just be genuine with your fans. And if you're gonna say like, I'm gonna upload twice a week, just actually upload twice a week. I think even with the YouTube algorithm, once you have like a steady set of uploads, I think that even pushes you into like the recommended feed and stuff like that. And just try to stay original. Like, it's cliche to say be yourself, but don't try to put on like a personality for the internet. And I think that marketing is also pretty important. So try to have like something unique that no one else is doing, because if you're just jumping onto what someone else is doing, once that's obsolete, you're also gonna be left obsolete. So just try to like find your own thing and your own niche, I guess. Like this, for example, this is very unique. And just have like original content, and then definitely just with the upload schedule, just have like quality content like once a week or something like that. So, yeah.
So do you actually pay attention to what other content creators are doing?
I get, like, because I'm a content creator, I would say I definitely think about it, like, crosses my mind. For example, when I saw your videos, I saw they didn't have like, more than like 50 or 100 views. I was thinking, does he use hashtags? Like, does he post about every new video on his Instagram story? Does he have like, different hashtags on his channel, stuff like that? So I think like if you have like a catchy name, for example, because that's what they teach us like in marketing, you know, have a catchy name that's gonna stick. For example, like Band-Aid. Band-Aid's not the actual name of the Band-Aid, it's just the brand name. And just like Kleenex, you say, oh, hand me a Kleenex. Like that's just kind of like, you know, brand notoriety.
Or
so
Purell.
Yeah, Purell, for example. Like that's you're taking a product and then it's being even more important. So that's obviously like you're not gonna say, you know. Sorry, I'm off track because I'm cold, but basically the thing that I'm trying to get at is like just have like a catchy name, like Rice Gum, you know, Foozy Tube, KSI, like stuff like that. So
Vitaly.
Yeah, Vitaly, that kid's hilarious. I was watching actually his downfall too. There's a pretty interesting like series that some guy was doing, like, you know, all these big YouTubers downfalls and stuff. But I would just say like I mean, I have my next video is gonna be indoor because I'm just reading off questions that people ask me about the upcoming semester, but. I think it might be outdoor. I'm probably maybe going to be just like talking about like my experience, like different food recommendations, or just kind of maybe doing something like this, like something interesting, like interviewing homeless people or like something like that. Yeah, just like, you know, whatever I want to do.
Yeah, and be prepared to pay.